All right, my name a special girl say you're building up to the GOC elective congress. We say China GOC betuaba penia obedi Ghana Olympic Committee no anymore for the next 4 years. Ntene yenya openi Michael O Aggrey and cheye no ono ene lead the Golf Association of Ghana no ono di anymore. Ene o say so hu wo agudi no wodi echache no ene say delegate o congress to abama na obetimi lead ye Olympic movement no lead ni ye pa. Ntene peni no abeka mensa ho ye bedi nkomo no ye bedi afa bebre. Okay, Mr. Aggrey, we didn't watch more about happy 19.9 for the so.
Yeah.
But we have a code there.
Because
as I see you here, as Michelle Base or watch a crack. That much so be say Michael O Aggrey when ya but obey mu say.
Happy sports.
But you not be Mike and crack.
Mati. Say mekano briefly.
Okay.
Nah, just say usually me started by saying say missy mo ache kakra.
Okay.
Yeah, we mo takradi.
Wow.
Na
Tidy Abrantie.
Yeah, we me teach me. See when I started my schooling life. Me free na me ban fancy school for my GCE and A level.
A level.
Yeah. After that, now me go University of Ghana, major in economics. This is way back in 1977.
Wow.
And
1977.
Yes, enemy we Legon. Now, as the friend say is allowed, you know, me national service for KJB Secondary School. Which had economics for 1 year. Until my actual career, business career, started in Standard Chartered Bank.
Okay.
Me ejuma for a few years and me say journey to the UK, acquired my masters in finance, move Birmingham University. After that, I stayed on for about 12 years to work in the finance and insurance industry in the UK. And me free home me signed by eja na my parents one more age
But how's life for you in the UK?
Oh, life was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot, and it emboldened me. It enlightened me a lot. And a lot of the experiences and the things that I do today has a lot of bearing on what I did in the UK.
More times when you're there, I mean, like I said, the world is this open. Your time in the UK must be one of those times that. For a young black man, it wasn't easy for you.
No, it wasn't. But you said America say it emboldened me because, in fact, my mom said I'm in Kwani Bibinia me.
Wow.
And tina prejudices no. But I managed to surmount all of it because when you're in a corner, you've got to fight back.
Yeah.
And, not in a violent way, but in a very diplomatic way. We managed to get on. And I earned their respect, and it was mutual. They respected me, I respected them, and we got on very well. Yeah, so like I said, me signed by Ghana. No, now I changed careers completely. I went into the automobile sales. Okay. I worked for a company called GOC Motors, initially as the commercial manager, and then I became the general manager. But after 5 years, I started my own company. In 1997, I started Tricon Auto Trading Company. Okay. And that has been going on since then to date. From there, I did other things. My interest in insurance didn't die. So I started a company called InterHealth Insurance, which is basically a health insurance administrative company. I hold several positions on boards. And I also have an interest in crushing, mining crushing. And, and also me a Juma Kakra. And I have diverse interests, but I would like to think that I have grown a lot of businesses, and all of which have been successful. But when it comes to sports,
so that would be my next question. Then, how with all these business interest and working at the highest corporate levels, sports administration bemu or ehefa.
Okay, so sports, I can't say that it was by accident. I've always been a sports person.
Okay.
Right from school through to university and everything else, my sports. Me buy, in fact, when I was leaving the UK, now me bought tennis. Into me buy, tennis na na idea who wish him I bought tennis by 2-3 years. Now me tennis playing partner, and I would jam ho a ball golf. And I'm mantiasia because that time the name in D40 cry. And I'm say now golf there to be Uncle Crawford game there then a cobon is brain. What's you Debbie where now would your bra? Now the good thing is that in tennis you cannot play alone.
Debbie.
Until me playing partner in the corner, nature say I was obliged to follow. Me call and frankly there has been no turning back. And honor me this start here. Until at Chimoto Golf Club, I started off as competition secretary way back in '98, and then I moved up to handicap member, vice captain, and then also vice president of Ghana Golf, and then president of Ghana Golf, and the list goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And as you probably know, currently I'm the secretary general for African Golf.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where it has been, and of course I've been a member of the GOC board also for the last 8 years. And I'm say
But what is it with golf and the corporate world? Because the perception out there is that golf is for sport.
Yeah.
Oh, golf is for sport. Is there a link to it?
Yes, the link definitely exists. It's not a cheap sport.
Very expensive.
Yes, it's not a cheap sport. But having said that, in fact, the vast majority of the people who play golf today in this country and the world over are not well-to-do. A lot of the people are people who have lived around golf. For instance, here in Achimota, in Sakuma na Okwa, a golf now golf. Is the same. Golf. Then they progress to become players and then in some cases professionals. And if I should add, at one stage, my mom for some say, hey, Nancy golf years say the best golfer in Ghana at the time, the best amateur golfer at the time, I'm president. He was unemployed. Yes, the second best was a carpenter. Yes, there are some rich people in golf, but the vast majority are ordinary citizens like you and me. Yes, there is a link to it.
Yeah, club members, and it can sport in every sport.
Yes.
But when born on the professional level, they may not be rich people.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yes.
Where you celebrity golf club for the same in Chua so. Also, where the Wabe, the pass Waba, na Bomono, I'm for Jomasa, or Sakumono.
Yes.
In team, or Missing Chua, and Masuna. Keep my warm.
And last weekend, the new minister for sports and recreation was there.
Okay.
He went round, saw what was happening, and he promised to say, "We'll make sure say encroachment in Nkoso." Okay. Some of us are also doing other things behind the scenes to make sure that they've spoken with me and I've taken it up. The BCBI will protect it.
Sure, fantastic, fantastic. Back to Achimota. How's managing Achimota? Because I think about 5 or 6 years ago, the club decided to take a new direction. And the investment we've seen in the club has been massive.
Yes.
How has the club fared so far since more new direction?
Okay, so I think the decision that was taken has paid off. We have the highest, in fact, it has always had the highest membership, purely not because it's the premier club, but because it is in
center of town,
in the center of Accra, and the population exists here. But it has paid off. At the time I was captain, we had 450 members. They say membership is in the region of 780.
Wow.
And the investment has paid off, and we are getting a lot more people visiting, particularly Obiaba Ghana. Achimota, it's good, and the management is solid, and they've managed to do a good job. It hasn't rained for some time, even though recently we had to talk about that. But unlike other places, the whole place is green. Thanks to the investment that was put in irrigation and everything else exists. Since Niboide.
Let's get back to the GOC.
Yes.
Why do you want to lead the GOC?
Okay, GOC assembly very simple. GOC ni matinemu and a minimum the ejuma akoso up until now. And I'm of the firm belief say I will say a protect is our legacy. Ejuma na akoso no. I say a twaso na di big back. That's number one. Number two, sports leadership in this country. It's a briefly a bit so we need more. But you see, GOC elections and now man for Tokwana and June Binma acquire election baby 4:30 in the morning.
Frank Dodo.
That's it.
Francis Dodo.
That's it. You know, and I feel that it is not healthy for sports. You know, aside from politics, and if I may bring your mind to it, now saying Black Stars victory said by there was more euphoria in town than when the NDC won the election in December. Because sports brings happiness and brings people together. Now, the leadership now, I will say, bringing about that development and you're united, then we are not going to go anywhere. Why do you think that we have lost our winning ways as Ghanaians? Athletics, we in Ghana, DNA, football, boxing, now, today, because we are not united. We are not able to develop the sport the way it should be. So the whole idea for me is to bring the leadership together, to make sure that we are united. And then we have one front in which we are fighting to bring winning ways back to Ghana sports. Wow.
And it's important, sir, and I'm happy, so we raise the issue of unity. How has that the raid more plan to develop sports, to get the GOC to do what's really mandated to do, because every time GOC has into Kwawum.
Yes, and Americano. So you see, whereas we need like-minded people, and there are a lot of talented sports administrators in this country, but selflessness, is lacking. You know, we need people who are selfless to come out there and say that, you know what, it doesn't matter who is at the forefront. You show them right to the wheel and then help the sports to develop. But aside criticism no does, you know, and it's not constructive either. If you criticize me, I'll take it as long as you are helping me to chart a better path. But we won't criticize it for criticism's sake, you know, at a time when we need the focus and the presence of mind to be able to develop. As I said, we need to go back to our winning ways. And the only way to do it is to have a focus. Call your name, we are athlete, we call a trial, and who call competition in 2 days' time. Meanwhile, not distraction be or because be can't be Wukrano, will start in yet, and now say you running style in yet, and now boxing style in yet. And how can you go out and win? So you need the peace of mind, the tenacity of purpose to go out there and win. And that's what we are striving for.
One of the issues, Bob, with the GOC is, and particularly in your case, and let me ask this first. What the clear intentions, no?
Yes.
And the community knows that Mr. Mike Aggrey air contested. Okay. How is the relationship with other federations and members, our forming delegates or Congress?
Okay, so as far as I know, I have no issue with anybody.
Okay.
Everybody, and you see, I would not be championing the charge for unity if I had issues myself.
Sure.
Sure. There is not a single person who can say, many good terms. There's not a single person. Everybody is my friend because I believe that we all need that united front to be able to forge ahead. I have a good relationship with everybody. I may not be known by everybody, but I'm a quiet operator. And but in terms of issue, including the my main competitor, Richard Abukavi is a good friend of mine. We worked together in the GOC before, and I've got nothing whatsoever. I think he's an excellent administrator, and in the unlikely event that he wins, I'll be very happy for him.
Unlikely event, you think so?
Oh, yes. I am not in this race to be part of the numbers. I'm in to win.
Did you say delegates in Betuamo.
Oh, yes.
They know I catch them out.
They should listen to the message. The message is very simple. You see, I want unity. I want, friend is saying, unity of purpose, and I want women and youth empowerment. I want the welfare of athletes to be paramount in everything that we do. These are the
so
key
cardinal
issues.
principles are what they call youth development, athletes welfare, unity of purpose, and the unity
And
of
women
empowerment.
Yes.
These are the pillars.
Yes. Yes. And no, because you see, fragmentation, no, we, you and I know, so it hasn't helped us up until now. Why should we persist? If we say that we want sports to develop in the country, why then would we want to foster that kind of animosity? We need to have that unified front to fight, because you know, whether it is finances or whether it's logistics or whether it is you know, support and so on and so on. You know, we need a sense of purpose now.
Yeah. The last GOC Congress, we were fortunate to be there, but in fact, we even raised issues on our show. We didn't think it set a good example. Congress, how then do we resolve all of these issues or other federations more? It play out on Congress grounds.
Okay, so I think, and I'll be quick to admit that we made a mistake. When we knew that certain federations had unresolved issues, there was no way that they should have been admitted. We have since gone to the International Federation.
Yes, I'm
they
told.
have given us the clear indication as to who is who, and I believe that going forward, you know, we won't have that situation arise again.
Yeah. That's very good to hear. So, more taking steps to at least regularize that, you know, unfortunate scenes like in or Congress. No, I say, in your speech you said Akugavi is a very formidable administrator. Does that pose a threat to your ambitions to become the GOC president?
Not really. I mean, you need to have respect for what is right and what is good. Like I said, there's no way that I can knock him. He's, as I said, when he was SG, I was a member of the board, and I saw what he did. He did a very, very good job. And, you know, what do you mean to be fortunate? But that notwithstanding, I'm going in the race with the mindset of winning and making sure that we make progress, and that's all that I have. That's my focus.
First of all, were you surprised Benin Mensa said on Kubium?
Yes, I was surprised. We were actually all taken aback because we felt that he was going to carry on with his leadership and also to lead the GOC to greater heights. But unfortunately, he felt that the time has come. And you see, I respect that. The time has come. You say that you get down when the applause is loudest. You know, you don't wait until things become murky and whatever.
You're pushed out.
Yes. So we respect the decision, and you know, we wish him very, very well. But I promise that I will continue that legacy and build on it and make sure that we do a lot more.
Do I get the impression Sanka or no contest, Sanka won't contest?
Inkaminko.
Oh, okay. But does that not make it a bit late for you? Looking at timelines and the date of elections.
This question has been posed several times, and my answer is very simple. The race is not for the swift, nor is it for the strong.
Because that's 9/11.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not for the swift at all.
Time and chance happens to all men.
Yes, and you know, ideas, contest of ideas.
Yeah.
Even if I had 1 week, we would be able to utilize it correctly in order to place ourselves in a, you know.
But that does not make the work difficult. Because now you have to look at the demographic, you know, the delegates, who is who, where that's allegiances lie, and then map up a strategy to convince them to vote for you.
I am used to challenges like this. In fact, I work best under pressure. You know, and you know, the 2 weeks now, I'm not many breathing because it means that I need to work harder than I would have done if I had taken the steps maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And you know, I've got my work cut out for me, but the strategies are in place. I've got a good team that I'm working with. And I'm pretty sure that at the right time, the message will be carried through and we will assail.
Okay. Ghana had it back oko elections ma eba pie say elections could be in Ghana. From where you sit, is it also financially demanding running the GOC presidency?
Yes, you see, indeed, it's not just that. Everywhere I've been, if your passion is in the right place, then it will cost you money because sebi u pese bibi na say the bureaucracy is not allowing you to get a year. You have to dip your hand in your pocket. You'll have to do it. And you know, yes, it is demanding, but it's not overly so. When you have to say bia envelopes and I say I'm delegates to Debbie. It's the ideas that and indeed it's a selfless and a thankless job. You know, wouldn't Kugua. Nothing lost, you know. So we are not into vote buying. That has never been a principle of mine. We just have to do what has to be done and get on with it.
And so far, has the feedback been good?
I like what I'm hearing. I like what I'm seeing. And, you know, I'm quietly confident to say you're being good.
All right, Mr. Michael Aggrey, and I didn't know Edin Kumono, or former president Edema, the Golf Association of Ghana. Any or what's your say yentu Nuswaba and you know as GOC president and Chakra and the GOC air going to elections. Now GOC elections there are very, very, very interesting elections. Yakobi Akubi almost to talk about one side and the last two elections, you know, are very, very, very interesting. Every time we shut a year aspirant, the question is almost say, has that helped the GOC? Where we've had the delegates voting en bloc. We've had teams being formed. This year, who teams. Has that practice in the past abwa the GOC and as wow based on the this year?
Probably not. You see, and again, thematically, me may say, the unity eba the front. So the idea of factions and so on, it doesn't sit well with me. It is not part of my vocabulary. So
you can't then belong to any faction?
No, one say competency here. You see, if you work as a team and everybody is on board, everything will go smoothly. You know, and when I say, Obi can say, sometimes when there is games now a man for won't say be athletes be 8 or 9 now officials be 30 and people don't understand the relationship. You see, they lack the understanding of how sports administration is
works.
Done. Yeah, Morocco in Qatar, in their team they had 8 video analysts working with them.
Yeah, that's true.
You understand? These are backroom people that sit down and do these are all tactical people. And so if you don't have a team that is supporting the main office, athletes 14 and officials 3 or 4 being one. That is a wunti agronas. You know, football for shown an example to say even equipment handlers and everything else have become part and parcel
or
of
the technical
team.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes, you know, and teamwork, and I'm prepared to work with anybody.
Okay, let's look at the GOC in itself and how they can affect it and improve the performance of Team Ghana or major competitions like the Olympics.
Yeah.
What's the plan for you? What are you looking at based on the fact of you've seen how we've done things in the past? What are you going to do to work in hand with other federations, to get, first of all, the best athletes for us, train them properly, discover new ones, so we can compete at the highest level?
And you've hit the nail on the head. You see, a Jumano and overnight job.
Sure.
We have the next set of games are aired by a Commonwealth Games, right? And we are going into Glasgow in 26. By now, the preparations and the path towards
should have started a long time ago.
And I'm one for not holding back until the last minute. First of all, God willing, if everything is okay, the first thing that I'll do is I will invite our federations and say that, guys, let us now map out a plan to go and bring back medals from the Commonwealth. In other words, yeah, called spready a whole thing. Yeah, synchronized swimming. The number of swimmers here want to cry and brew for. You cannot even form a team, let alone go and do, So let's not, go and spread ourselves thin. Let us harp on our natural talents. Yes, we have football, we have boxing, we have athletics, we have judo, we have for instance, weightlifting. All those things are what natural talents will. So the first thing that we are going to do is to make sure that we find who is who, first in Africa and then in the world. And then we pick those teams. So more or less, immediately you better form Team Ghana. If you like, you see in games parlance, we have what is called the long list.
Yeah.
We'll take all the possibles and the probables, come together and bring them together. Say, company, my campo. And then we start the process. Those who are in America, you see, heading, sometimes they because American, into me, why not? One more, if we can bring footballers from
the various clubs
to Ghana, why can't we bring our athletes back to come and perform for us? So we'll bring them all together, and then we'll start the process of elimination to make sure, say, because at the end of the day, we are competing against global leaders, and if these global athletes are at a certain mark in terms of time or in terms of speed and so on and so forth, we need to make sure that we are close to, if not better than those times. And we'll bring them together and then start the process of elimination. Hopefully, by the time we get to the beginning of 26, the games is somewhere in the middle of the year. By that time, team say concentrate on qualification because it is a qualifying event. Once we do that now, then we are good to go. Yes.
So in your mind, that's one of the things a bit me here to get the best.
We have to. We have to.
But what about? You're not a regulatory body. But what about also a system? Because sometimes funding call other federations, through the GOC.
Yes.
For them to put their house in order, because you've seen, and if you followed federations and associations in Ghana, very few of them are doing well.
Yes.
In terms of governance, in terms of the management of the federations and associations. How are you from my position to make sure say other federations and associations are here also more?
Okay, so you see, although I've mentioned a few key pillars, governance and transparency is also one of them. If you don't show audited accounts, then you don't want to be helped. You need to bring your audited accounts to the GOC for us to make sure that your governance principles are in line with the Olympic ideals. Once you do that, then we know that, say, the Sikamawa, we will apply it in the right ways. After all, Sikano Yedimamwa, what is it for? It's for athlete training, coachings, and other and So when you bring your audited accounts, we will peruse it and make sure that you are going in the right direction. And if you are not, we will counsel you. We will sit you down and say that this is how it should be done. So not the regulatory, but because we are governing, and because you will be asking us for money, we have a right to know how you are spending the money. Yeah. Yes, and we will ensure that anybody who gets assistance is compliant.
All right, Mr. Michael Aggrey, and know Edin and Komano, Mashabo say, Obewini, based on the why, and the friends about to Boabo and ACU, no could be mudida. The sure say, ye can say crown or the near film won't be that. But are you okay with the processes so far leading to the elections?
Yes, I am. Of course, be a kakra in the sense, say, election committee should have been in place long before now, so that they play that independent role of so far so we are still waiting for them to constitute properly and so on and so forth. So for me, that is a bit of a blotch on the preparations. But otherwise, Menti say there's been any, certainly not to my hearing, said there's been anything dirty or underhand in the process. Everybody is doing what they have to do. Everybody's canvassing and doing it in the right way, and it's healthy. I'm impressed by it.
Okay.
Yes.
So hopefully we will get a credible winner after the elections.
Absolutely.
If all the players are in line.
Yes.
Do you know about delegate and pay delegate 81 away?
Okay. The Amit Miakane say, my key principles are medium nam. I think that is what Ghana sports needs. Mm-hmm. We need to be able to empower the youth, and everybody is talking about catch them young. Indeed, this is what gave us wins in the past. Academicals, inter-school colleges, inter-college sports, and so on and so forth. So why are we reinventing the wheel? We need to go back to the basics and do what we used to do to win. And we will empower the youth and the women. Mm-hmm. That's first and foremost. We will employ transparent and credible means of management. We will also imbibe team spirit, make sure that everybody is on board. As I said, my first task will be to invite everybody to come and sit around the table, and we will share ideas to make sure that nobody's left out. This is not a winner takes all kind of. Look, sports politics aside, in this country will go back and be friend and tumapa when we are winning in sports. Be Azuma Nelson time and woman boxing bar Obia energy. I caught Enum Koba, Rose Hart, Alice Anum, and all those things. We want to bring back those days. And see, a vote for Mike Aggrey will ensure that we will go back to winning ways. And from that, we will see that we'll make some progress.
But finally, what are your plans for more Olympic Stadium or Amasaman?
Okay.
It's been there since BT Baba's days. We've not been able to develop it to levels I hear.
Yeah, it is a long time in coming. I believe that it's been 16 years since it started. The outgoing president has done some work, and through some very prudent financial management, we've been able to make a lot of savings, which will enable us to complete the work. A lot of people don't know ABC Anoka for this car ban and Anoka brings money, but they also need you to match it, not completely, but you need to provide 30% of the funding. And because of the prudent financial management, we've been able to make those savings. So that money is available to match the monies that Anoka will bring. Anoka also does not sit idly. They come on the ground to inspect. So they know where their money is going. And anybody who says that, yes, there has been some encouragement and so on and so forth. But I dare say that the work that has been done so far is not shambolic. It is work that has been done. A few cracks have appeared here and there and so on. But it is my intention that we will see this through so that by the end of one's term, we should have seen the multi-purpose complex sports facility in Amasaman come to fruition.
But will you also recommend the states, as in central government, coming in to help?
You see, the state has a lot of responsibility, and because we rely on the state for other things, I would go to corporate Ghana to assist because and you see, you need to sell the story correctly.
Sure.
You are accounting for it. People will see on the ground say, "Yeah, tennis court, yeah, basketball, yeah, sports hall, and so on." If you want somebody to assist you, you don't sell the idea in a vacuum. You need them to eyeball it and to see, say, "Ajuma in so far." So completely, and it will be done.
Sure.
It will be done.
Sure. Mr. Mark Aggrey, we wish you all the best in the elections, hopefully. We are here to support you, we are here to help into the BTBiano. This is home of sports. Into the Obe Pesibea Bobiano. You just call my producer, will be available 24/7. Yeah, that's it for coming. Mr. Mark Aggrey, former President of the Golf Association of Ghana, and he operate as President of the Ghana Olympic Committee.
etoda wo kontimi do champagne pa nanso wo sika ekura wo no na ye juice ene betumi ato so so pese wo kura mre kura sika na udwumadi a wo di